Are goals overvalued? That's the real question. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. Let's talk about goals. I think that they're overrated in most cases, and here's why. First of all, we have to understand what a goal is and why it's there. A goal is an objective that we're trying to achieve or get to in the future. But the question is, are they important? Now, there are goal setting workshops everywhere. There are all these people that talk about have goals, have goals, have goals. But have you ever met someone who is extremely goal driven? They're extremely driven as a person, yet they feel like shit all the time. They're disappointed. They feel like they're not achieving enough. They tend to disconnect from other people. They're just not enjoying life. So is the purpose of life to achieve goals, or is the purpose of life something different? Now, these are the questions that I ask to a lot of my one-on-one private coaching clients. So, I get a lot of people who come to me and they want fitness and health goals. I offer some different packages. There's mindset and lifestyle coaching, and then there's mindset and business coaching. So mindset and business focus on leadership, management, becoming a better business owner, and then building out all the systems and the infrastructure and everything that can help someone to grow a team, or to grow and scale their business through the systems, the processes, the sales, the marketing, and all the shit that drives human behavior. Then you have people who come to me and they want fitness, or they want health, or they want a better mindset. Sometimes it'll be relationship type stuff as well. But they're the most common reasons why people come to me, hence the mindset and lifestyle coaching. But what I find is that most people who come to me have a goal. They've got this objective that they're trying to achieve. But here's how I have to reframe the majority of people. And I ask them this question. If you had to work for the next 2 to 3 years in order to make $1 million, yet you learned a heap of stuff along the way, but you had to work on it. You had to work on your own growth. You had to learn the lessons. You had to make the mistakes. You have to fail. You have to get back up, and you have to keep going. But in 3 years, you make $1 million. And then the year after you make $1 million, and the year after you make $1 million, but you've got to wait 3 years and you've got to go through all the trials, the tribulations, and the adversities. Would you take that? Or would you take the $1 million just given to you right now? If I put $1 million in your bank account, would you take that? Now, most smart people say that they would rather the $1 million in 3 years, and then the $1 million a year after that, and the $1 million a year after that, and so on. Well, if that's true, then the thing that matters isn't the goal. There's something else that is missing from the equation. And this is probably what's missing from your equation and most people's equations. And that is the education. So are you more driven by the education and the learning and the lessons, or are you more driven by the goal? Goal-driven people are normally fucking irritating to work with. And they're irritating to work with because all they give a shit about is just the goal. These people are disconnected. They're switched off. I meet people all the time. They're like, yeah, we just want to grow the business. We just want to go. Whatever. That's great. But those types of people, they're normally challenging to be around. They don't become a better person on the journey of their own business growth. They worry about money because money's their validation. They normally disconnect from friends and family and people around them. They can't relax and switch off. They're normally burnt out, tired, and stressed. And then they use self-destructive behaviors in order to relax. And then they beat the shit out of themselves, feel bad about themselves, and then they put unrealistic expectations on themselves and then others, because what happens internally gets projected onto others. So those people create unrealistic expectations on their family, their friends, their peers. They're stressful to be around. I worked with a client like this a couple of years ago, and I ended up just deciding not to work with him anymore because I said, look, it's too hard. Unless you're prepared to change, I can't work with you and I can't help you the way you want my help. Because you're creating all these unrealistic expectations on me, but it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. It's just you won't drop those expectations because you've got such a fantasy and a desire to achieve. You think the achievement's going to make you feel better about yourself. You think the achievement's going to make you feel better about life. And you think that when you get there, then you're going to have everything that you want. The problem is you're going to destroy everything on the journey. You'll destroy your family. You'll destroy your friends. You'll destroy the mental health of your kids. You'll destroy the mental health of yourself. And that's if you don't self-destruct. He would have stages of being suicidal and just fucking depressed all the time. Some people that's how they want to operate. They think that the only way to have any form of validation in life is through achievement. And that is their validation. I think that that's ridiculous. I've been there before, and all it does is it makes you feel like shit. So what I prefer is to work with people that want to grow. I was working with a client this morning. He comes and picks me up. We go to a cafe, we sit there, and I help him start to structure his business. And the cool thing is he's been working with me for 6 months. And he said, mate, I can't wait for the next couple of years and what we can do together. So he wants to keep working with me for the next couple of years. That's already in his mind. And he said, as the business grows, I want to become a better leader. I want to learn how to communicate, how to negotiate more effectively. But he's thinking about becoming a better person. He's not thinking about the goal. He knows that if he keeps growing the business, he has to get better. They're the people I like working with because they get the game of life. That's why I enjoy working with him, because he's fun, he's interesting, he's a good person to be around. He makes me be better in my own life. I enjoy it. Like, my life is better because he's in it. And the cool thing is I get paid to help him. I very rarely get clients like this, but those types of people, when I work with them, they create such unrealistic expectations and they come in with so much anxiety and stress, and they're almost like a rubber band that's about to snap. And so no matter what you do, it's never enough. That has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. Now, probably 95% of the people who come to me who act like that, over a couple of months, I detrain them out of that pattern. And they realize that it's stupid. It will not get them where they want to go. I also know this because most people in business operate this way. Most people in life that are driven operate this way. But it's stupid. That's why most people just self-destruct. I know that if you want to achieve great things over a long period of time, that pattern of behavior is stupid. It's dumb. And that's why I also know that most of the clients that I coach, I let them know that probably 80% of people in your industry operate that way. Do you know how easy it is to win when you know that they're going to fuck it up for themselves? They'll destroy their own family. They'll destroy their own business. They'll destroy their own staff. They will do that themselves, right? You don't even have to beat them. They beat themselves. So I normally try to detrain people out of that to focus on the education and to becoming a better person versus just the goal alone. Because if your goal is your validation, then that means that you have no value outside of that goal. That's a pretty fucking shitty way to live. When I was like that in the past, I felt sad. I felt excited some days and depressed as shit other days. I felt like I was never achieving enough. I would put pressure on my team. I had high staff turnover. I was erratic as a boss, as a leader, and as a manager. My team didn't trust me because today I'm coming in all amped up and excited and pumped up, and I want them to win, and I'm going to give them the big motivational pep talk. And then tomorrow I come in and I fly off the handle because I'm pissed off and I'm frustrated and, we're not getting to where we want to get to. And I was emotionally volatile. They didn't like that. They want to come to work and they want to be productive and they want to achieve, but they need good leadership. They need good management. And I was neither of those things, right? I was a volatile individual who thought that achievement was going to give me value. And I wanted it so much. I was so hungry. Now I'm just as hungry, but I'm calm. My staff come to me and they're like, oh man, this fucked up. And I'm like, that's cool. We'll figure it out. Don't stress. Like, it's all good. We all make mistakes. Let's just figure out how we can be better. Let's learn from it and let's grow. We don't want to make the same mistake twice, but we can grow out of it. Let's keep growing. And so now staff trust me. They feel like when they make a mistake, I'm going to help them through it versus they're going to have someone who's going to fly off the handle and spit the dummy, or that they don't want to tell me because they're afraid. That's not cool. That's not good leadership and that's not good management. If you're one of those people, you have to change that pattern of behavior. Now, you can do it by working with someone like me and doing one-on-one. I would recommend, if you're a business owner and you feel like that, you really need to crack that pattern, because once you start hiring a couple of staff, you're going to have high turnover. And then once you start getting more and more staff, you're going to be churning through cash because most staff will be ineffective. They'll be walking on eggshells. They'll come to work for the paycheck, but they're not coming to work for the culture. They're not coming to work for the growth. Whereas with our team now, I'm always training them on the growth. Let's grow, let's be better. And we have a really strong culture because we're really clear on our mission. We're really clear on our vision. We're really clear on our values. We have a core strategic plan. We have correct reporting. And so now I know everything that the team's doing. I know whether they're effective. I know whether they're not effective. I know if they're on track, off track, and I'm calm most days. Took a while to build all that stuff out, but it's what it takes. So look, if you're one of those people, just reach out to me. Hit me up in my DMs on Instagram and say you need some help either in your business, or if you want to achieve personally and you feel like you're that person who puts a lot of pressure on themselves, then reach out, because all it's going to do is keep you self-destructing. And like I said, most people don't lose because of a competitor. They lose because they self-destruct and they pull everything down around them. And most businesses die because of the owner. They don't die because of the economy. I heard people during COVID shut down their cafes and they say things like, it's the economy and no one's going to cafes. That's bullshit because there are plenty of cafes who survive through COVID. They're doing something that person's not doing, right? Then now in the building industry, I have people all the time complaining about, well, the building industry is this way. Cool, that's cool. I've got clients who are crushing it in the building industry. Why? Because they're doing something different that the other people aren't doing. So if you want to win, you got to do something different. But the truth is that most people are going to fuck it up for themselves anyway. During COVID, all the people with their cafes that didn't open up or made excuses or complained about everything, they're the ones who got creamed. It wasn't COVID. It was how the leader or the owner of the company operated. Your education and you growing as an individual is more important than the goal itself. The purpose of the goal is to grow. We set goals so that we can grow to become a better person because anything in nature that's not growing dies. And if you're not growing towards something, if you don't have a reason to grow, you're essentially dying and going backwards. That's why we set goals. We don't set goals so that when we achieve the goals, we validate ourselves and tell us how awesome we are. And then we feel like shit most of our lives because we're always chasing the next thing. That's a dumb way to live. That's fucking dumb. If you're doing that right now, understand that you're playing the game of life dumb. That's not smart. You've got to change that. The goal is to wake up every day and to grow, learn something, be a little bit better, implement a new habit, create a better accountability, and then work towards becoming a better person. So education is way more important than the goal. And your education can come through your failures, your trials, your tribulations, the relationships that you have. They can come through so many ways. But if you wake up every day looking to be better and looking to educate yourself and learn the lessons that you need to learn and keep growing, in 10 years' time, you'll be a completely different person. Okay, you've heard the saying before, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That only applies to dogs that don't want to learn new tricks. Anyone can learn at any age. My grandmother is a prime example. She's 86 years of age. She still wakes up every day, listens to the share report. She'll buy shares when she needs to, and she'll sell shares when she needs to. She takes the profit and she lives off of them. But she still travels around the world and does some really cool shit. She's always learning. She's always reading books and studying and learning. She's a very, very smart woman. One of the most inspiring people in my life is her because she's an absolute gun. At 86, she learns more shit than most people in their 20s or their 30s, right? She's super smart. So my point is, life is about growth. It is not about achieving outcomes. The outcome should lead to the growth. You set the goal and then you think about, who do I have to become? What do I need to learn? Because if I learn the lessons and I become a better version of myself, then by the time I have the outcome, I've already grown. Then you do it again. Just something different to think about, Driven Mofos. By the way, if you haven't rated and reviewed this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to, I would really appreciate it if all of you do that right now. Just after you've listened to this episode, just click on the star rating on whatever platform you're listening to it on. And if any of the platforms have a review, you can type in a little review in there, but it helps us get out to more people. Also, remember to share this podcast with your friends and your families. Let's boost this up. I know we've been sitting flatlining for a while, and I know we're getting more and more new listeners and followers and stuff like that, but our numbers are flatlining. So I would really appreciate it if you can share this with one person this week. Anyone that you think that this episode will resonate with, please share it with a friend or a family member. We'd really appreciate that. Anyway, take care, Driven Mofos. Have a great day. Keep kicking ass, and I'll see you on the next episode. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.